The delay. I washed my AirPods and I had to pull out these old Dilios and get them connected and all those things. So, welcome back to the Mindset Mirror Connection live stream. Today, we are talking about how to go through a weekend where you are off routine, where you have an extra day for the weekend, and also a weekend where you may have different indulgences. And we're just going to talk about them. I'm going to go through some calorie ranges with you. We're just going to talk about how to not feel like you have to make up for anything at the end of the weekend. So get your notepad out, get your questions out about how to survive a holiday weekend that we're walking into. And welcome back to the Mindset Mirror
Welcome to
Connection
the Mindset
podcast.
Mirror Connection podcast, the podcast where we debunk the eat less, move more, shrink more mentality and focus on what really matters, which includes your relationship with your body, food, self-worth, and the behaviors that align with all of those. I'm your host, Christina Hathaway, licensed therapist with specialized training in food and body obsession, certified personal trainer and nutrition coach. At the Mindset Mirror Connection podcast, we believe what you say in your mind, you see in the mirror. So let's have a conversation about that.
Let's do it. So, welcome back, guys. Sorry, this is a little bit blurry. I am in my summer clothes. I don't have any mascara on, which is kind of silly, but I have an event I have to go to tonight. So, I was going to wait to put my mascara on. So, I want to talk about kind of a lot of the mindsets that people walk into in a holiday. So, let's think about for those individuals who struggle with weekends in general. So they think, oh, I've had such a hard week. It's the weekend. I want to relax. By relaxing, that means if there's someone who tracks their food, who's planned their food, who has a routine around food or exercise, that relaxing also somehow their nutrition and their exercise is included in relaxing. So add that, add another day to that. Okay, so now we have 3 days. And if you get off on a half day tomorrow, now you have basically 4 days. And so if you're someone who already struggles with the kind of all or nothing mentality when it comes to weekends, a holiday weekend can be even more challenging because you're just extending that window of relaxing, letting go. I needed to decompress. I hear all of them. For those of you in the chat, what is a thought you have about relaxing or whatever it is that you have during the weekends or on holidays? Then on top of that, you have a holiday where we have cookouts, we have firework events where there are like the ones here, they're like normal fair food, fried this, fried that, lots of drinking involved. You might have pool parties, kids events, on top of all the other summer events, right? And it's fine, obviously, to engage in all of that. I want everyone to be enjoying their lives. I actually, for those who don't know, I absolutely love fireworks. I am obsessed and I get upset when I miss them. I just love them. There's something about it. My dad used to, when we lived in LA, we would line up fireworks in the front of our house and he'd just go and light all of them and it would just be so much fun. And we do the sparklers and all that. So add that on top of the idea around feeling like I have to relax, like this is, the holidays, I want to enjoy myself. And then that combined with the idea that if I'm going to enjoy myself, that also means I don't have to worry about my food. I don't have to worry about my exercise. And we have all the treats and the foods and the routine is off. It could be a disaster. Exactly. Emily says it's time to not think on the weekends. And that's a great segue for me because that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Rather than having to think about it on the weekends, one of the best things you can do in scenarios like this is create a plan, right? Create a plan that's already in motion. Where what does it mean to already be in motion? You could meal prep something, you could just have the ingredients there at your house. You can look ahead to the restaurant you're going to and decide ahead of time while you still have the mental capacity to plan everything that you're eating, right? Or now obviously it's Wednesday, but if you are leaving on Friday, get in that extra workout tomorrow or get in those extra steps or talk to your family and say, hey, I know that we're going to be really busy Saturday night. Would you guys love to like take a walk around the lake or where the neighborhood early in the morning? Thinking about it ahead of time and then putting it into action requires less thinking about it on the weekend or on the holiday. Anytime you can create a default that just says, this is what I have, this is my default, this is what I choose, it's going to be a lot easier for you to execute. So, one of the things I talk to my clients about is, okay, you're going to be at your family's house all day. And there's also soccer on as well. So that's another thing to take into consideration. So you're going to be at your family's house all day on Friday, maybe all day on Saturday. How can you set yourself up for breakfast? And for this particular client I'm thinking of, she's not even leaving the state. She's just going to be at her family's house watching soccer. I said, for you, I'd love to see you do like a cup of Greek yogurt with a scoop of protein powder in it and a bunch of fibrous fruit. And she's like, that's easy. I can do that. This client right now doesn't have, she's actually on a GLP-1 and it just switched her dosage. So her appetite is low, but we've done an amazing job of keeping her strength up. She is losing weight, but she's losing it a lot slower than someone who wasn't trying to maintain their muscle mass. So she's doing great. And there's a lot of foundation that we set before she even got on the GLP-1. So for her, she doesn't have a big appetite. So I said, let's do the yogurt with the scoop of protein powder. And then maybe in between, maybe when you're driving to your parents, have a protein shake. So thinking about that, what are the things that can be easy for me and I can control? And more importantly, how can I get a ton of protein in early on? That is huge. That is going to make you feel like, all right, I've checked off a big chunk of that early in the day. I don't have to just, worry about, oh, there's just going to be hamburgers. They're not very high protein. They might be even more fatty. Like, let that be. Know that what I was in charge of, I took care of, and I created a plan that was easy for me to implement. So starting your day with a high protein breakfast is the easiest way to have some control. Now, say that you're traveling, you could do a 3 egg omelet with vegetables, 3 egg whites, excuse me, or just an egg white omelet with vegetables and a side of fruit. That's a great way to get a bunch of protein in. You can do the Starbucks egg white bites. I get 2 of those, the 2 of the little patties. Plus, I actually get everything bagel on the side because if I just eat the protein bites by themselves, I'm usually a little hungrier later. Or you can even get like the oatmeal on the side. Chick-fil-A will be open on Saturday. So you can get the egg white grill. I get 2 patties of egg whites. So this is also helpful for you guys if we did a whole series about traveling in summer. So if you want to go back to that, check out the page, my YouTube channel. So I want to share some things with you. Now this is going to take me a second. I want to share calories. Let me see. I don't even know what it's under. We used to do this all the time where we would share 4th of July foods and their calorie intake. So I thought it would be fun to go back to that if I can find it. Now, it's been so long since we've done this, and I knew earlier I was like, you got to find this, you got to get it up and going. I think we're gonna have to go here. Okay. Anywho, so Emily, I think the easiest thing is like not like setting yourself up for the weekend so you don't have to think, right? You don't have to think and you make it where you're still going to enjoy yourself. So I want to give an example from my client Amber, who it's actually not the 4th of July, it's her kiddos church camp that they eat burgers at the end of the night, and she's just concerned that she'll have to bring her own food and she doesn't necessarily want to do that. So we looked at it and I said, okay, well, what does the rest of the day look like for you? And she sent me over her plan. I'm like, great, this is a great plan. Oh, I found it. Yay. I think, hold on. Super Bowl foods, Valentine's foods, Easter foods. Where is it at? Okay, so back to her. So we looked at the rest of the day and I'm like, perfect. Like you can make very small adjustments to make up because she's actually in reverse diet right now. So I'm not as concerned about it. But I said, you can make small adjustments to your morning. And it was little things like removing, she had like a, a yogurt that had like little chocolates in it. So it was a little bit higher calories. Like just remove that. Here it is. And there you go. Like you've balanced out to have the burger with your kids later. The burger is actually at like 9 p.m. So I was like, do we have to eat the burger? Like, could you just show up and make burgers? Because her dinner's a lot earlier, but it's neither here nor there. You can, if you're going to a spread, you're going to a barbecue, you can balance out your day. And this is not to restrict foods, you guys. This is simply so that you feel like you're moderating everything in moderation. I know that's so cliche, but it's true. Like our bodies only have a certain amount of calories that allow us to maintain our weight. And it's okay if we go over that amount too. But just being, if for a lot of my listeners that either want to maintain their weight or they're in a weight loss phase, for some of you, you want to build. That's not really who this conversation's for. But if we're trying to maintain or we're trying to continue a deficit over a holiday, we gotta make some compromise and make those very small tweaks. You don't have to recreate your whole day, just very small tweaks. So if I'm going to the spread and I know it's going to be a good amount of food, then I'm just going to take care of myself in the morning and have like a high protein, maybe lower calorie, lower. You could even like lower the fats or carbs if you want to, because you're going to have them later, right? And it's all about that balance. So real quick, let me see. How do I do this? I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. Here we go. So this is our 4th of July foods. So these are just common foods. I just want to show you guys. So we have coleslaw. Now this is in grams, so I should redo this in cups. But just so you know, let me see here. Let me stop sharing my screen real quick. How do I do that? Stop sharing. Let's see. I'm going to do a little trick. We're going to take this guy. We're going to put it in chat. Adjust these portions using cups when appropriate. Okay, we'll come back to that. That's a really old target. Second wedding anniversary is on July 4th. Oh my God. So I'm going to have to outsmart myself on my protein and calories that day. Or you could just enjoy your anniversary, my dear, right? Any guidance for having conversations with family when they ask why you're looking ahead? Great call. Okay. So Emily, for you, it's your anniversary, and what we're going to talk about, it's one weekend as well. So one weekend is not going to ruin your progress. One weekend didn't get you to, hasn't gotten me to a place where I lose weight. And it's also not gotten me to a place where I gain weight, even though, yes, the scale might go up. So if you've got a double whammy, you've got a holiday weekend and an anniversary, that's just the universe saying, hey, this is a weekend for you to enjoy. You don't have that double whammy every weekend. So if you want to enjoy. But again, that also, and I know I don't need to say this to you, but that also doesn't mean that you have to enjoy everything. You can choose what you're going to enjoy. So for example, I love to use the motto, if you like it, leave it. If you love it, eat it. If you like something and it's kind of like, I can do without it, don't eat it, right? So for example, breakfast for me is always something that's pretty standard across the board. I mean, I live in the Southwest, so we've got some bomb ass like burritos and chilaquiles. They don't have those everywhere. And also they're not delicious everywhere. So anyway, breakfast, pretty standard, right? It's like a like food, unless you're going, like there's a place I go to in San Diego. They have a Bananas Foster's peanut butter French toast. I'm going to eat that. I usually share it with Mark. So that's not here. So that would be a time where you're like, okay, like I can choose the higher protein thing here because I know we're going to go to that steakhouse or whatever it is and eat all of the foods there. And then just be intentional. That's the thing. Be intentional with it. And just know, like, one weekend is not going to ruin it. Jen, she asks, any guidance for having conversations with family if when they ask why you're looking ahead to menus or asking these questions? So, one of my favorite things to tell people is that, you can use the line of, I'm really paying attention, or I'm really focused on eating foods that make me feel good or energized. I'm really trying to put proper nutrients in my body, because that's why we're doing that. I'm really trying to stay away from foods that make me feel lethargic afterwards because I really want to spend time with you all. Another one is just, when I think ahead, it gives me less anxiety when I'm in the restaurant. When I plan ahead, it gives me less anxiety. Or I plan ahead because it's one last decision. I plan ahead when I have the brain power because it's one last decision I have to make when I'm tired. Now, that might not apply here. I think it's important to recognize that planning your food, in your case, while we're still learning what our body likes and what serves us, that it doesn't always have to equal diet, right? Now, obviously, you're in a fat loss phase, but for the people around us who say, I'm just really interested in what I'm putting in my body. I'm trying to eat foods that are high protein and high fiber. And, if I'm at the restaurant and the waitress is staring at me and I'm like, I'm going to default to something that may not be that. So yeah, good. I'm glad you love that. It's it's okay. Just remember that if you bring your food somewhere, I have a client, actually, her. She's a former client, that would bring her food to. She worked for General Motors. She when vendors, I think it was when vendors would come. Oh no, when they have in services where they'd have potlucks and she would just bring her food. And after the first time, she's like, nobody cared. Nobody cared, right? But with family, obviously, they're just trying to understand a new behavior and something that they're not used to. So just come back to the nutrients, come back to the way that food makes you feel. And, in certain cases, you could even say, I'm really trying to learn about, and I know you have a specific, how do I say this? Reason medically to want to eat or want to learn about food, right? So I think that's important too. When we have things like any sort of, and this is not for you, but I'm just talking to people in general, any sort of autoimmune or glucose issues or PCOS or anything like that, or even gut health issues, even using that and saying, I'm really just trying to learn how to feel my body so that I can manage this without having to take a bunch of stuff. Yeah, so good. I love that question. Okay, so let's see where our dealio is. All right, here we go. So just to put into perspective, a half cup of coleslaw is roughly 95 calories. A half cup of potato salad is roughly 179 calories. A half cup of pasta salad is 200 calories. It says Caesar salad, but Caesar salad could mean literally lettuce because it says 44 calories. Baked beans, 1 cup is almost 400 calories. And then we have an avocado tuna salad in there, and that's 1 cup for 187 calories. So those are usually the spreads, right? You've got potato salad, pasta salad, coleslaw, maybe baked beans. Those are all things we see on the 4th of July. Then your burger. So burger, cheese, and bread, depending on the patty. Now that's the difference. Can be anywhere from 250 calories to 400, even 500 calories. My client sent me these burger patties today, and I believe, let me see how much they were. Where are they at? They were 390 calories for the Angus beef patties. So just keep that in mind, right? Just keep it in mind that if that's what you want and you love burgers, that it's just going to be a little bit higher calorie, and that's okay. If you love it, eat it. If you like burgers, don't eat it. However, if there's nothing else for you to eat the fucking burger. Don't starve yourself. Okay. We have hot dogs, roughly about 300 calories. Throw some chili on it, 350. Corn dog, roughly 265 calories. Light beer, going to be around 110. Corn on the cob, 100 calories. Flag cake. I talk about this on Monday on the podcast. I love the flag cake. It's so cute, like with the blueberries and the strawberries and all the things. One slice is going to be around 200, 250. What else? What else is foods that people have on 4th of July? I would say hot dog, burgers, grilled chicken. Hey, that's great if we have grilled chicken in the house. If it was me, and let me teach you guys something that I talk about on the podcast, but I talk about it with clients, is the AAA. So this is really important for everybody listening. AAA is ask, assess, act. So first question you want to ask yourself, and Emily, we talked about this already, is like, what is my intention here? What do I want to feel like? My clients, every single one of them got a very specific check-in for the holiday. They got it today. Please complete it. They got it today, and it basically asks them, like, what is your intention? What do you want to feel like after this? Smoked meats. Well, see, smoked meats is great because it's smoked. You get a lot of protein in it. Some fat, but yeah, definitely smoked meats. We have the trigger. What is my intention? How do I want to feel after this meal? Because here's the thing. When my husband and I go to a specific steakhouse here in the Valley, I know I'm going to feel stuffed afterwards because I love so many things at this particular steakhouse that I overeat on purpose. And afterwards, we usually have to walk across the street to this hotel called the Global Ambassador, kind of walk around because I'm so full, right? What do we want to feel? So ask yourself, what do I want to feel physically and mentally around my food? Then we're going to assess, which we're going to look at everything being served. We don't want to grab a plate and then just start putting things on our plate. We want to look at everything being served, and we want to choose our protein, our colors, and our love foods. Love, 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 not like. If you like Lay's potato chips, we're not eating them because we're going to save that for something you actually is very pleasurable to you, because food is not just about nutrients, it's also about satisfaction, right? So assess and then act, right? Fill your plate, but action also could include if you're someone who, when you're around food, like I have an island, right, in my house, and whenever I have parties, the food is always on that island. If you're someone who will kind of talk and eat at the same time, move yourself away from that food. Take your plate, try to eat without a lot of distraction, eat your food, enjoy it, slow it down, and protein first, then colors, then love food. And then if you're like, wow, I had Chick-fil-A mac and cheese for the first time last weekend, I'm forever changed by that. If that was on a plate, I would probably go back for seconds because I love it, right? And just check in. How do I feel? How many more bites of this would get me to a place where I might be overly full? So say that your intention, your ask was, I want to feel comfortable in my pants after we're done with this meal. Then you might have to just stop with a couple bites left on your plate, and that's okay, right? So ask, set the intention, really think about how do I want to feel physically and mentally, assess, look at everything that is being served, choose your foods wisely, your proteins, your colors, your loves, and then also seat yourself away from the food if necessary. So there you go. I will be with people I don't know very well, so I get some social anxiety. So I have a hard time not having food or drink in hand to have something to do. Yes, okay, good. So I prefer a drink for that. And you know what I'm going to say? If you can get, there's great non-alcoholics, there's great mocktails, and soda water. So the interesting thing about a non-alcoholic drink, especially like they have Corona, non-alcoholic Corona, Ultra. I mean, I drink beer, so there's so many options out there, is that your brain doesn't know the difference. Your brain does not know the difference that it's not drinking alcohol. Or you can do what I also have clients do because of that reason. They want to have the thing in their hands. Is so say you drink vodka soda, right? So you drink your vodka soda, leave a little bit at the bottom, then go grab soda water and fill it back up because you still have that little bit of vodka soda on the bottom. Fill it back up so you're just chilling, like, and you still can kind of smell the alcohol. That's why some of these non-alcoholic drinks are so good because they smell and taste like the original. That would be what I would do is a drink in hand, uh, and in hand in the same cup that everyone else is drinking from. That's a great point that I like when I stopped drinking, it was not difficult because my brain was like, oh, because I actually like the taste of cold beer because the only woman in the world. I love a cold beer, man. It's my fave. So that would be, I would do that over food because at least you know what's in that cup, right? Whereas if I'm just talking and eating, right, I could way overeat. So great question. Pass on the beer alcohol, and not, but love to just keep adding the soda water to the drink. Yeah, that's also true for like wine. I'll have people do a little spritz, so they'll drink a white wine and then they'll get a cup of ice and some soda water and just fill that wine glass back up, and they make a little like half spritz with it. So that is a great way to do that. So these are awesome questions. I absolutely love them. The other thing is, like I said in the beginning, like this is one weekend and a weekend is not going to ruin your progress. Now, if this is happening every weekend, then obviously that's something to look at because it becomes a pattern. But good. Yes. Mine too. It's just remembering that it's not what you chose to eat that causes us to gain weight. It's what we do and the actions that we take after based on our beliefs about who we are because of what we ate. So if we think, oh, see, you had 3 slices of pizza at the kids' party, you can't keep a diet, you're never going to lose weight, all of that failure narrative, then we're going to take action on that, which is normally kind of the fuck it's. And those fuck it's, those add up over time. But if you just say, well, I had 3 slices of pizza yesterday, great, cool, whatever, I'm going to go make my regular breakfast that I always make. So it's a non-issue. It's not a pattern. It's when you think that it's going to be a pattern and you start saying, well, see, this is where the wheels fall off. Well, if you keep saying that, your brain is going to look for the wheels falling off. And then you're going to take actionable steps. That's just how we are designed. So just remember that. Like one day, it's not the act. It's what I make up about that act and then how I act on that thought, not the actual action that I took. And that is incredibly important for you guys to remember. Okay. Hydrate. We want to hydrate as much as possible. Oh, another thing I love is get in some movement. Like get in more movement. Now, obviously, we can't like burn off calories, and we don't do that here. But like I like if I know, so I'm going to be at a pool party all day on Saturday. I am going to go take my little doggos for a walk around this park by the hotel we're staying at. And I looked at it. And we can do like a good like 3-4 mile walk. She enjoys that anyways. I enjoy it. So I'm just going to do that because I know I'm going to be, and plus we'll be up and down, probably dancing, shaking our butts. So we'll be moving around. But getting in some good movement is a great little, I don't want to use the word buffer, but it just makes you feel good about your day. You're like, see, balance. I had the 3 pieces of pizza at night. I got a 3-mile walk in the morning. Boom, balance, right? Now, if you're trying to be, you're in a calorie deficit and you're trying to get through it during a holiday, this advice is not for you. If you're in a calorie deficit, and okay, what I mean about this, there's people who are going to be in a calorie deficit and be like, I'm okay with maintaining my weight over the holiday. Great. Love that for you. That is an option. But the people are like, no, I have a client right now who they're like, no, I want to weigh less when I get back. I'm a little bit stricter with them. I'm like, okay, well, you're going to have to make a little bit more compromise. So if for those of you on here, I feel like you have more of that flexibility because we really work on it. But for that individual, I said, look, you're going to have to like eat beforehand, have just your veggies. Usually there's like a veggie option, like fill your plate up with a bunch of crudité, maybe some fruit salad. If there's a chicken option, have the chicken option. Like that's it, So that's more for the person who has a short-term deficit that we're trying to get in and out of. There is more compromise that happens there. But for most of my clients, a holiday weekend is a maintenance weekend. And then we move on because we only have a few of them per year, So any other questions? I'm going to my how did I say it earlier? The bar that I grew up in. Bar I bartended at for 10 years. It's their 30-year anniversary party. So we're going to go celebrate them. I'm so proud of them. It's crazy to like be a mom and pop shop that's stuck around for that long, but I know why, because they're amazing. So we're going to go do that tonight. So I have to go out on school night, which I don't love, but make sure you guys fill out the fun 4th of July check-ins. Look at my AI 4th of July picture. Apparently it says mindset of something else. I didn't even look at it. I just put it on there. And let's get you set up for the week. I will be off on Friday. And yeah, let's get you all set up for the week. If you have any other questions, obviously you can reach out to me directly. But thank you guys for amazing questions. Thank you for your participation. We will be back next Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I just figured everyone would kind of be out and about tomorrow. So, all right, so let's see. Very helpful. Yay! I'm glad it was helpful. I'm trying to think anything else. Anything else you guys would add to that? To what we're talking about? Also, do I need to curl my hair? I feel like it looks. I washed it this morning, and I feel like it doesn't look like I washed it. All right. I think we're good. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye-bye.